Hello, and welcome to another episode of Arklay Zoo. Today we're going to be working on our reptile house, a timber wolf habitat, as well as a habitat for hippopotamus. Off camera, in between episodes, I decided to play around with building the reptile house structure. And it turned out very well. See, the thing is that I had never worked with the exhibit feature in Planet Zoo yet, so while off camera, quote unquote, I decided to go ahead and play around with it and put things in and build a building around it. And what I built just worked out so well for what I wanted that I decided to save it as a blueprint and go ahead and put it in Arklay Zoo. So everything's been done as far as putting the ivy around the outside of the building and all that. The only thing that I needed to do was place the exhibits and the pathways. And I believe I wound up doing that off camera as well. So my apologies if you wanted to see that, but hey, that leaves us more time for other habitats within this episode. I had a blast making the signs for this, by the way. I don't know. There's something about the materials that they have given us within this game that I like. I don't know. I like building stuff like this. I always have. I always found it intriguing. Now you'll notice that I put presented by Bell Inc. on the smaller sign. That we'll get into during the live play. That's for a very special someone who needs a smile right now. And now it's time to add the animals into our exhibits. And most of these are going to be snakes because that is what is liked by the incorporation who sponsored our reptile house. In fact, I believe they requested the yellow anaconda, which will be put in here. One of the things that I really didn't kind of realize was that, I've got to add stuff to these exhibits and temperature and humidity and all that stuff. I played around, like I said, a little bit off camera, but man, that was a lot more than I thought would be needed. But it all worked out. it all worked out. Originally, with the building, I wasn't going to have visibility from the outside and the inside, but I decided, you know what? No, let's go ahead and do it because it's going to get pretty cramped in the interior of that interior building. So yeah. And then there is plans, as you can see as I'm looking through the exhibit Animal Market, there are going to be plans for an insect house with mainly spiders, and that might be presented by the same incorporation, quote unquote. All right, now that we've got the exhibits all squared away, let's put some benches in and get some foliage around the outside here. I just want this, this whole zoo, I really just want it to look beautiful, which, I mean, would be anyone's, goal, I would think. I mean, you're not just going to place random stuff down, exhibits and habitats and not put any foliage for your guests to look around going, oh, this place is really amazing. And if that's the kind of thing that you like to do, then I'm not going to apologize for what I just said, but you do you. I'm going to do me over here, and we'll just keep on trucking. I was trying to choose the right plants to go around the sign so that it didn't block the sign, but I just felt having just the sign there with no foliage kind of looked, well, bare. So yeah, and then on the opposite side, when I put the sign in here, it was just, because it's not up against the wall like the other one, it needed a bunch of work. And of course there's my trusty elephant grass that I put in there, and I decided, you know what, rocks might be a good idea. So I added some rocks, which is something that I rarely tend to do, is think of rocks. I don't know why, but yeah. One of the things that you'll see me do, especially around a lot of the staff buildings, is put up that elephant grass, because it works in masking those areas. And this technique, now not necessarily with the elephant grass, but this technique is used in a lot of zoos that I've noticed, at least around here, in the Bay Area, to hide some of these buildings, is they'll put foliage and trees and all that stuff to block the buildings. So I guess to backtrack on some of the things I said in the last episode about not understanding how the buildings can negatively impact the guests, I guess after thinking about how hidden the buildings are, especially like the keeper huts and stuff like that in traditional zoos, I guess I understand it just a little bit more. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention that we'd be working on is this area here, which will be our information and gift shop area. And yeah, so let's get into that right now. When working on this is to put in some ATMs. There are actually no ATMs within the zoo right now, so I think I'll have to go in and fix that here, either in between episodes, probably in between episodes, but definitely if not in between, it'll be on camera with episode 3. While putting this all together, I realized, as you'll notice here, that the paths for these shops on this side weren't connecting, and I just kept going, why? And then I realized, oh, it's because that the path is too close to the water for the waterfall on that side, and it's not letting me, so I had to get rid of the water temporarily. The only thing is that while I was editing this video, I realized I never put the water back in. So you'll see in the live play that the water is back, because in between piecing all these pieces together here for the video and doing the live play, that's when I realized it. I mean, come on, floating water lilies and lily pads and stuff with no water kind of looks ridiculous, don't you think? Now I know what you're probably thinking. Oh look, more elephant grass. And yeah, that's true. Also, these elephant, I think they're called elephant ear bushes. Yeah, they seem to be my favorite probably within this whole thing. So off camera, I decided to do the layout for the Timberwolf habitat and make the mountain and the cave and all that stuff. And right now what I'm doing is I'm checking to make sure that the den I built is within the boundaries, because even if it's under the boundary and technically the wolves wouldn't be able to escape, if it goes under the boundaries of the habitat, it will still say that it has escaped, and people will panic, and I'll have to pay. I mean, even though I know I'm on unlimited cash and stuff, I'd still have to pay for, to get the animal put back in. One of the things that also happened between recording this stuff and doing the live play was we had a recent update to the game that gave a lot of fantastic options that I thought were just missing, and I was really about to write to Frontier and say, hey, what's going on? Is this planned? So on and so forth. Not that they'd probably read it or respond, and if they did, that would have been cool, but anywho, I digress. But stuff like the staff happiness never goes down, and always have power to the things that need to be powered, whether or not you have a transformer nearby, and always have clean water. And I was just like, thank God, because sometimes I would forget to place that stuff. Another thing that I was thankful for with this update was the ability to turn animals fighting off, which you'll see here in a minute. These timber wolves, I did 2 males, 2 females, because within a pack there's always going to be multiple. Guess what? They kept fighting, both the females and the males, for alpha position, which I get it, in the real world you'd have to do, but even after the 2 that earned the alpha position received it, the other 2 kept on fighting them no matter what. And so I was kind of getting done with it, and then the update came along and I saw that and I was like, oh, thank you. I don't have to worry about these notifications saying, oh, your animals are fighting, oh, your animal is injured, call the vet, yada yada yada. And also, of course, within the update, there was more quality of life improvements, and I am definitely thankful for that. Adding in this power transformer here on the other side of the Wolf Den's mountain there gave me an idea, and I don't know if I do this on camera or not. Well, I guess we'll find out in a second here. But I decided, okay, let's put in all the staff facilities then. So the keeper hut, a trade center, a vet, all that stuff. And it worked out good, because then coming up here you'll see that I put in the hippopotamus directly on the other side. In fact, here we are, and there's the hippopotamus. So yeah, I did it all off camera, because you can see back here behind the pen and all those trees is a bunch of buildings. The fun part, and I say that very sarcastically, was trying to get these trying to get everything within this habitat to work. And initially I did, especially after once I figured out how to do the one-way glass and not have it be the wrong direction. Then I had an issue with the size of the habitat. So then I had to redo everything, and I believe I cut away, and all of a sudden it's a different habitat. But you'll still see the den. You'll still see a new shelter that I built, and all that stuff. But I knew I wanted to have underwater viewing, and then at the end of the time lapse, you'll see me put in a pathway that goes directly over the edge of the glass fencing. And that way people can go up top and look into the habitat and see the hippos that are on land. And of course, the one thing with the hippos, and the reason why they need so much space, is they require, I believe, a few thousand square meters in land, and a few thousand square meters of water, and it's equal. So it's 50-50 split for sure. And it was just, it doesn't look that way. When you look at it, it looks like there's a lot less land than there is water. But it all worked out once I did the new stuff. And I'm really happy with how the habitat does turn out. I just wish I could do more with the water, especially to get it a little more clearer, because it's a little murky, even though the water itself is clean, but it's a little hard to see the hippos. And see, here's that cutaway that I was talking about. Now things look just a tad different, and for the better, to be really honest. I could fit a lot more in here. I could fit a lot more as far as them breeding and stuff, which later on there is a baby. I don't know if it's going to be on this episode or next episode, but there was a baby. Just like I believe during the live play I find wolf pups, and that's exciting. Babies are cute, at least animal babies. Not to say that human babies aren't cute. I've got a really adorable great niece and really adorable nephew, but animal babies are just a little bit cuter, especially kittens and, okay, maybe puppies. I'm not really a dog person myself, but yeah. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for the time lapse, and I'll see you here in a couple seconds for the live play. Alright, and welcome to the live play. So let's take a look here at what we've done. Obviously, as you can see, I've added some education boards, as well as all the, well, not all, but I've added benches and trash. And then we have our little info and gift shop areas with a double bathroom on this side and a single bathroom on this side. Alright, and then we're going to walk on this way, and we're going to check out the first thing over here that I put in, which is the reptile house, presented by Bell Inc. I'm trying to find little funny ways to include everyone that's kind of been giving me suggestions and helping out, and family members and stuff. So Bell Inc. would be my sister, and Bell being her nickname, alter ego, what have you. I figured she deserved her own corporation for funding this reptile house. So let's hit play and go on in and see how her reptiles, mostly snakes, are doing. Ooh, look at this. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. It's just, I have not seen that yet within this game. That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's see here. What's in this one? I don't want to see the guest. Thank you. Ooh, social health. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The humidity's not set. Okay, and then it's social. Oh, group size is too large. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, okay. So let's... Alright, let's just take a couple of these and put them in the trade center. Alright, that did it. That's cool. Alright. Those were the puff adders, and now... Ooh. And this, I believe... Yes, the yellow anaconda. I don't know why I didn't see that up here. I was looking down here. Was actually what my sister suggested to be put in. So this would be hers. So let's get rid of this female. Oh, it was the cool one that was right there. And now they're perfect. Alright. And then we have the eastern brown snake, which, holy crap, okay. Assuming it's too large. Alrighty. Oh, yeah. Okay, these things breed like crazy, apparently. So... let's get rid of a couple of these guys. I'm just doing this all willy-nilly. Because, yeah. Alright. Alright, that did it there. Okay, so there's the eastern brown snake exhibit. And then we come over here. And I believe this one's the only non-snake... No, yeah, the only non-snake exhibit, which is the Gila monster. And they're doing alright. You can actually see him hiding in his little hidey hole, or her. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, right there in their little hidey hole down here. So that's pretty cool. I like these exhibit things. This is really awesome and different. Let's see here. We have our diamondback rattlesnakes, which seem to have the same issue. Okay. Because apparently they're only supposed to have... And she's expecting, of course. Well, as soon as she pops out another one, then we're going to have to get rid of it, because it looks like you can only have one of each. And with the rattlesnakes, which is weird, because if you've ever seen a rattlesnake nest, then you know. And then finally we have the common death adder, which is also overpopulated, so we're going to get rid of some of these. This is not how I thought about spending the live play, so my apologies for anybody that thinks this is just boring. But it is what it is. And then I think we'll get rid of one of each, and that should give us a little wiggle room. Alright. How are these doing anyways? Not too bad, not too bad. Alright, and that is our reptile house. Which, what I did is, built this off screen and then placed the building in, and then I put everything around it and all that goodness. Made the sign, which you saw me make the sign. So yeah, pretty cool. Moving right along, let's go back over here. We'll just fly on over to our timber wolves. They gotta be here somewhere. There they are. It's a pup. Oh, yeah, cute. Now I did wolves because wolves are my husband's favorite. So yeah, it's a pretty cool habitat. The only problem, I think, is that a lot of the guests are complaining that they can't really see the wolves. Which, yeah, that's true. So as you saw earlier, I took a bunch of these. Okay, and now it's snowing. We're going to have issues. I'm going to hit pause. Because these guys are now probably too cold. Yes. Yep. Alright, well, we were moving on over here anyways to our hippos and stuff, and I did a little underwater viewing area, and then I put in this stuff to have so you can see on the land. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this. Oh, and of course, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I cut into having all this set up and everything, because what happened is the original layout of the habitat, that's the word I'm looking for, wound up being too small after I added everything, so I had to add a bunch of land and a little more water in and stuff, so I just figured I'd cut all that out earlier. But yeah, so this'll end this episode. So if you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, leave me a comment, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button. I'm Gamer5150. Hope you've had a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one.